Peace and love, everyone. Back today with another scripture breakdown. Today we will be looking at the parable of the prodigal son. This is found in Luke 15. It runs from the 11th verse all the way to the 32nd verse, but we'll only be touching on the first 24 verses. And the reason why I picked those verses is because they touch on three key points that we may struggle with in our lives, which is pride, humility, and forgiveness. We see in the first part of the chapter that the younger son is filled with pride and he goes out and does stuff. Like he takes his inheritance and he does things with it. Second verse, half of the story, the middle part, we see that he learns humility and he humbles himself and goes and asks his father for forgiveness. And then at the end, we see that the father ultimately ends up doing what? Forgiving him. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we're going to start at verse 12. Verse 12 reads that it says, "And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living." So what did the younger son, he has two sons. His father has two sons. The younger one came to him and said, with pride, and said, I'm ready to take my inheritance. Go ahead and give me my inheritance right now. I'm ready to take it and do it and do whatever I want to do with it, and I can do it. And we see in the next verse it says, "And not many days after the younger son gathered all together, took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his sustenance with riotous living." So he was what? Prideful. Took his inheritance with pride. His pride told him, hey, you're ready to get out there. You're ready to go do whatever you're ready to do. Go ahead and take your inheritance. Told his father, I'm ready to go out there in the world and do whatever I want to do. Go ahead and give me my inheritance. And it led to him what? Spending all his inheritance, losing everything he got. And he ended up what? Becoming homeless and hungry. It says in the next verses, it says, "And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. He began to become hungry and needing shelter. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into the fields to feed swine." So now he's went from a rich kid with an inheritance to feeding pigs. He's starting to learn humility. He's starting to feel humility, the consequences of his action, consequences of pride being in his heart. "And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave it to him." Nobody's feeding him. Nobody's making sure he's eating. He's willing to even eat pig food. And when he came to himself, he's starting to learn humility. He said, "How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger?" So what did happen? His pride led to his what? His downfall, which was what? Him becoming homeless and hungry. He was so hungry that he was willing to even eat pig food. So now we start to see he's going to start learning what? Humility. Right? We see that right here. It says right here in verse 18, it says, "I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants." And he arose and he came to his father. So what did he say? He learned humility in what his actions is and said, you know what? I'm going to swallow my pride and get rid of that pridefulness because it only led to my destruction. And I'm going to what? Have humility, and I'm going to go apologize to my father no matter what I have to do. Even if I have to be a servant, even it doesn't matter. As long as he forgives me, I'm going to go seek his forgiveness. And we'll see right now if the father forgave him. And it says, "But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him." So we see now the father is what? Showing that he he forgave him. He forgave him. The son didn't even say anything to him. He always loved him. Showed him, I always loved you, son. I always wanted you to come home. The son's realizing all I had to do was just come home. Not be prideful, come home. and do it. And he did what? And what happens? It says what? And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. He would use humility set into him and caused him to say what? I apologize, Father, for what I did. I shouldn't have did these things. And it says what? But the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. So the father what? Forgave his son for what he did. No matter what his son did to him, did to the family, he still did what? Forgave him. No matter what. And he was joyous. So what does that say about God? Because it's Christian content, right? What does that say about God and life, right? So as Christians, we must be humble and forgiving, because this is how God deals with us as Christians. Right? When we're filled with pride, we go out, we sin, we mess up. Then we come before him humbly. And when we come before him humbly, he does what? He forgives us, and he's joyous. We came to him humble, and he forgives us, and he's joyous, because now our reward is we get to heaven. So in life, when people do things to us in life, or we do out in life, we may mess up. But we must get rid of the pride, because when we mess up, we must go be filled with humility to go what? Ask for forgiveness for what we did. Right? And when we do that, we receive what? We're able to receive forgiveness, and we're also able to give forgiveness when people do it to us, because we do it all the time. We're filled with pride. We go out there and mess up, do whatever we do, and then we humbly go apologize for it, and we expect forgiveness. So we must treat others as we would expect God to treat us and somebody else to treat us. So that was the breakdown of the Prodigal Son. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace and love. Thank you.